girlfriend wandered off again. You can see her behind those trees. And so, what we're going to do today is we're going to eat some bark. Yeah, believe it or not, you can indeed eat bark. In this case, it's going to be pine bark. Something you can do in an emergency situation for survival, or is just, an addition to some foods you already have. I wouldn't recommend doing it all the time, because let's face it, it's very fibrous, and depending on how you cook it, it might have a bitter taste. Like, if you eat it raw, you can eat it raw, but it's definitely got a bitter taste and be chewy. The real question is, will the girlfriend eat it? So now basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking like a strip of the bark, and then I'm going to show you what it is, part of the bark that you can eat. It's not the hard part, it's underneath, a small little layer. And what's also important is, you don't want to strip a whole tree around, so we're just going to take a section of it so that it can stay alive, okay? Because you definitely want to be able to have a sustainability wherever you go, in the way you conduct yourself and the way you harvest things. So I'm going to just kind of create my outline. So basically right here we have it. It's the soft portion that I'm going to just cut thin slices of, and we'll cook them later and try them raw. They don't taste very good raw, in my opinion.
That looks weird.
What?
It looks weird.
Because it's only a thin little layer that between the bark and the wood inside that the sap and everything runs through.
Yeah.
So if you can see here, this is one color and it's soft, and then right here it's a different color, because that's where it starts turning to the wood inside that's not necessarily alive like the outer one. So you want to take that off, because that's going to be too hard. Like I said, you can eat this raw, but it is bitter. It's much less when after it's been cooked. Say hi.
Hi.
So now we're basically going to a place so we can just cook. You can cook this over an open fire. We're just gonna put it kind of like fry it up and add some spices to it that make a huge world of difference. But it definitely tastes better cooked, because it'll take a lot of the bitterness out. All right, so basically here we have the bark, and this is the part that's edible. However, if we eat it the way it is right now, it's pretty bitter and chewy. So we're gonna make it into a potato chip, per se, and see if my girlfriend is willing to eat it. So the first thing I like to do is I like to put roasted garlic salt. So I'm just gonna sprinkle this on here. And I'm also going to put it in here where we're going to cook it in. All right, and then the next thing you need, that's going to add flavor and just make it overall better, so it doesn't stick, is just some butter. So first we're going to turn this on. Melt the butter. Unfortunately, it was too hot, so it cooked on the spices. So I should have done that afterwards. What I'm gonna do next is I'm going to basically just make sure that the butter is in there. Yeah, the butter is on each piece. And you can, like if you're up in the wild, you would be able to use animal fat for the same type of purpose. You basically, ideally want it to be more like a golden color, but obviously since this thing cooks so quickly, it looks a little burnt. But it normally, in my experience, it still isn't too bad.
This is how it comes out.
How you like it?
It tastes really amazing. And it's in my mouth now, sorry.
Does it taste like almost like a potato chip?
No.
Okay, describe how it tastes.
It tastes like a garlic cracker.
But you like it?
Yeah, it tastes really good.
Okay, cool.
Those burnt pieces.
Yeah.
Important or whatever.
So, something I learned just now, because last time I've done this, it's either open fire or like in a skillet on a stove, where it's a better controlled burn. But what ended up happening with this is that this is so efficient and so hot. When I just had on a little bit, it burned this really quickly. And so you want a slower burn. This is important. You want it to slowly cook over a little bit of time, and that's gonna like take the bitterness away. So if you notice, you didn't see it because it's off camera, the parts that were thicker and the burn part tasted bad or were bitter. So the smaller pieces that were thinner that didn't get burned, those are what tasted great because the bitterness wasn't anywhere to be found. So remember that next time you decide to cook some bark up. Not bad.